My name's Dave Hill. Thank you for your interest in the rhythm guitar program that I'm teaching. I hope you're getting a lot out of the course and you've been enjoying the education process so far. It's been a pleasure to make them, and I've been enjoying them so far. So let's review a little bit of what we did last lesson, just to make sure that we can cover that and make sure that everybody understands what we covered. And then we're going to move on from there and talk about some new stuff. As you recall in lesson 20, this incidentally is lesson 21, but in the last lesson, in lesson 20, we introduced the idea of the open position major seventh chords. And as you can see, they're still on the board back here for you to review, okay? Now, all of these chords that we covered in our last lesson have something to do with the open caged system chords, the chords that we originally started off, the C, A, G, E, D chords, right? And I even wrote an extra one there in the key of F to show you another option for fingering. But what we also need is, after we learned all of them as major seventh chords now, so we've got these great major seventh sounds that we can play in open position as well, right? That work really cool, but we've also got to be able to play major sevenths in different positions of the neck and not only in open positions, okay? So we have to learn movable fingerings to attach to the major seventh chords and even minor seventh chords as well as other types of chords. So that's what we're going to cover today. We're going to cover some of the movable positions of majors and minor seventh chords, okay? So let's take a couple of the shapes that we've got already covered here and show you how they're going to work. Okay, so let's take, for example, the open E chord. As you remember, the open E chord that we originally started with here was modified to make a major seventh in an open position to make this shape right here, okay? Now, this is the root is on the sixth string and the high E string, of course, and even in the middle of the neck it would be right here. But we use the major seventh to make it a major seventh chord. But let's take this shape here in this position and find a way to move it, keeping the root on the sixth string here, and put it into another position. So I'm going to erase the key here. And I'm going to erase these notes. And I'm going to show you where we're going to move it here. Okay, so if I put, let's say for example, if I put the root, move it from the open string up to this note right here. Okay. Now you'll remember originally the open bar chord in this position, or the fingered bar chord in this position looked like this. Okay. And that was originating from this open E form, right? So we're going to use this form for our major seventh shape, okay? But we're going to modify it a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the low fifth that we used in the open chord here, right? And I'm going to put it only on the second string. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these notes here and we're going to put them all right here. And that's going to result in this form right here. Okay, now this is a major seventh form. Now it's movable, and you'll have to keep in mind that this note right here is a dead string. You don't want to play this string, okay? And really, you don't want to play this string either. The X means don't play. Okay, so all we really have is 1, 2, 3, 4 notes, okay? But that comes from this form, okay? Which originally came from this form, so this is how they're all related. This G major chord became this. Okay, so that's a very effective, it's got a major seventh right here in the middle and it's got the fifth on top. So I changed the voicing that we had right here to make it a little bit more clear with the fifth only on the top, not on the bottom. Okay, so that's going to be a very useful shape. Let's take a look at this chord right here, which as we can see was an A major seventh chord. Okay, that's going to be a good form for a fifth string root, because that's what we've got right here is the fifth string root. Now, if we took this form literally and just moved it right up to this shape right here, and now, knowing that the open string was the root, if we took that exact note and put it right underneath our fingers, we've got a perfect shape. We don't have to do anything but just bring it up and put the root, and now we've got our movable major seventh chord that works great, like this. And we can play this chord all the way to the top if we want. We can bar it all the way over the top. Okay? So that becomes a major seventh as well. Okay, and the root is right there. Okay, so we've got a major seventh with the root on the 6th string, and a major seventh with the root on the 5th string. Okay? And they originated from these open string chords. Right? But now we have movable forms. Okay, so those are really good to learn. Okay? So let's just spend a little time reviewing those, and I'm going to practice them just for fun. Okay, now we know that we have G and C can go together nicely here, but of course we can also play G and C in a different position now because we've got two movable shapes. So I could play the G chord not only here, but I could take the form that we just learned right here for the C chord and play it on G way up here. Right? So we've got G here now we can play, and also up here. That's using this shape first and then moving this shape up to G right here. And then obviously now I can play C major not only here, but I can play it here. Okay? So let's go back and forth between G major 7 and C major 7. Okay? And I want to just drill you a little bit on this one. Just to kind of get your fingers used to going. Okay, let's start in this position and play G major 7th right here to C major 7. Let's do a bar of each chord. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do 2 bars, in fact. That's better. Now C major. Okay, excellent. Okay, now let's reverse the voicings and play the G major 7 up here. Now C major 7 right here. Okay, very good. Excellent. Okay, so not really the hardest thing we've had to do so far, but these are new chords for a lot of people, and I want to make sure that you get used to the fingering. Now, the reason I'm choosing these particular chords right here, right now, is because G major and C major are diatonic. They belong to the same key. In this case, G major and C major belong to the key of G, so they sound like they fit together. Okay, and that's an important thing when you're making up progressions. Now, let's just do a few little exercises with these 2 chords, and I'm going to write some progressions on the board, so I'll be right back. I'll see you in a second. Okay, so I'm back with my progressions. I know you've been working on the chords while I was stepping aside for a minute. So once again, what I just showed you was major 7ths based off the open form that now became a movable major 7th, and the open A form that we learned last lesson here, that now we have a movable shape. Same roots and everything on the 5th string, but now a movable shape. So that all we got to do is know where the notes are on the 5th string. We've got major 7 chords up and down the neck, and the notes on the 6th string, we've got major 7 chords up and down the neck. The only critical thing on this chord to make sure you're aware of is there's got to be string muting right on that string and the top string, because you can't let certain notes ring open or they're going to be horrible. Like, let's say, for example, you did this. Not good. That note and that note have no business being in this chord right here, unless you like that kind of sound. Okay, so let's take a look